My husband forgot our anniversary, but I still cooked his favorite meal and lit candles. He came home at 11 p.m., smelling like cheap perfume, laughing into his phone. When I asked who it was, he said, "Just someone who actually listens." That night, I didn't cry. I opened our joint bank account, transferred every penny I legally could, and booked a first-class ticket. 6 weeks later, he found out where I was, but by then, I'd already met his boss. I guess the truth is, I saw it coming. I just didn't want to believe it. You don't marry a man thinking one day you'll be standing alone in your kitchen, dressed up, candles burning low, food going cold, waiting for him like a damn fool. But here I was. We lived in a 2-story house in Charleston, South Carolina. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We had a white fence, a swing on the porch, flower beds I planted myself even though Travis promised he would help. He didn't, of course. He was always busy, always tired. But I didn't mind. I thought love meant picking up the slack sometimes. We were married for 8 years. 8 years of birthday parties, Christmas mornings, lazy Sundays. 8 years of thinking we were building something solid. The week before our anniversary, I reminded him, "Don't forget next Thursday, okay?" I said while we were getting ready for work. He was half listening, scrolling on his phone. Yeah, he mumbled. Got it. That morning, I even sent a text, "Happy anniversary. Can't wait to celebrate tonight." All he sent back was a thumbs up emoji. No words, no plans. But still, I told myself, maybe he's planning something. Maybe he just wants it to be a surprise. I spent all day getting ready. I took the day off work, cleaned the house, cooked his favorite meal, pot roast, mashed potatoes, cornbread. I even baked a damn pie from scratch because he loved my apple pie. I wore the blue dress he used to say made me look like a movie star. I curled my hair, put on makeup. I lit candles all over the dining room. I set the table with the good plates we only used on holidays. I waited. 6 p.m. came and went. 7 p.m. Nothing. 8 p.m. I texted him. No reply. By 9:30 p.m., the candles had burned halfway down. The food was cold. The pie sat untouched on the counter. I sat at the table, staring at the door, telling myself stupid things like maybe he got stuck at work. Maybe he's picking up flowers. At 10:45 p.m., I started blowing out the candles. At 11 p.m., the door opened. He stumbled in, laughing into his phone, drunk or high on whatever buzz he was chasing. He smelled like fruity, cheap perfume, like the kind teenage girls buy at a gas station. His hair was a mess, tie loose, shirt half untucked. He didn't even see me at first. When he did, he paused, looked at the cold food, the candles, me standing there in my dress like an idiot, and laughed. "Who's that?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. He shrugged, still grinning like a little boy caught with his hand in the cookie jar. "Just someone who actually listens," he said, like it was a joke, like it didn't mean anything. Then he brushed past me, still chuckling, still texting whoever she was. He went upstairs, leaving the smell of cheap perfume hanging in the air behind him. I stood there for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just shut off. I made myself a cup of coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and opened my laptop. If he wanted to treat me like I didn't matter, fine. I would stop acting like I did. I logged into our joint bank account. We had $58,231.47 in savings. I transferred every penny I legally could to my own private checking account. I left him $4.22. Next, I booked a first-class ticket to Scottsdale, Arizona. My cousin Jess had opened a spa there and had offered me a job months ago. Back then, I said no because my life was here. Not anymore. I packed that night. Just the important stuff. Clothes, jewelry from my mom, documents, laptop, a few photos. I didn't even pack everything. I didn't want anything that tied me to that house. I slept on the couch. I didn't even hear him come back downstairs. The next morning, I was gone before sunrise. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. No note. No goodbye. Just silence. He didn't even call. Not that day. Not the next. Not the next week. It was like I had never existed. Fast forward 6 weeks. I had a new life. A new apartment with a view of the desert, the job at the spa, new friends. I even got a dog from a rescue. His name's Murphy. For the first time in years, I could breathe without feeling like I was drowning. That's when I got the email. It was him. Long, rambling, pathetic. Half apology, half blaming me for giving up too soon. Saying he made a mistake, that it didn't mean anything, that we can fix this. I didn't answer. I deleted it and went out for tacos with Jess. Life went on. And then it got even better. Because about a month after that, a man came into the spa. Middle-aged, salt and pepper hair, expensive suit but not flashy. He had kind eyes. He was polite. Booked a massage, tipped well. His name was Kevin. We started talking. Harmless stuff at first. Where you from? What brings you here? He was in Scottsdale for a business conference. One dinner turned into two. Two turned into four. And then it started turning into something real. On our third date, he asked me what I used to do before moving out west. I told him a little. Left out the messy parts. He told me he worked for a logistics company based out of Charleston. My stomach dropped. Wait, I said. Which company? He told me the name. It was the same one Travis worked at. Small world, Kevin laughed. I smiled, heart racing. He asked if I knew a guy named Travis. Some screw up we had to fire last month, he said, sipping his beer. Always late, lied about expense reports, hit on half the interns. Total mess. I almost spit out my drink. I shrugged and said, yeah, I used to know him. Kevin didn't ask more. I didn't offer more. Turns out, after I left, Travis's life spiraled. He started showing up late, missing deadlines. Management caught him taking clients to strip clubs on the company card. One day, he was there. Next day, he was gone. Kevin didn't seem sorry about it either. He said, some people just dig their own graves. I just nodded. Inside, I was smiling. After Kevin told me what happened to Travis, I thought maybe that was the end of it. It wasn't. A few weeks later, Jess called me while I was at work. Hey, she said, voice low. Somebody's outside the spa asking for you. Says he's your husband. I felt like someone dropped a brick on my chest. I told her to lock the door and not let him in. I watched from the back room window as Travis stood out front, pacing like a stray dog. He looked awful. Skinny, pale, hair a mess. He was wearing an old polo shirt and dirty jeans, not the man I married, not even close. He stayed out there for about 15 minutes before finally leaving. I thought that was the end. It wasn't. That night, I found an envelope taped to my apartment door. No name on it, just taped there like some damn horror movie. Inside was a letter. 8 pages. Handwritten. It was pathetic. He begged me to come back. Said he messed up and needed help. Said he was lost without me. Blamed the other woman. Said she was crazy and meant nothing. Said he was different now. The last page just said, please, I have nothing left. He was right about that. Because I had everything he lost, the money, the dignity, the respect. I didn't answer. I didn't call. I showed Kevin the letter a few days later. I didn't tell him everything, just enough. Kevin shook his head and said, people like that don't change. They just get better at lying. I knew he was right. But Travis wasn't done yet. 2 days after that, Jess's boyfriend called me. Said someone had been following Jess's car. Same car Jess let me borrow sometimes. He got the plates. Guess who it was? Yep. Travis. I filed for a restraining order the next day. When the papers were served, Travis lost it. He started blowing up my email, sending desperate messages from burner accounts. telling me he loved me, telling me I ruined his life, telling me he was going to make me understand. I saved every message. Kevin got a lawyer friend involved. They said if Travis didn't back off, we could press charges. Meanwhile, Kevin and I kept seeing each other. We weren't rushing things, but there was something real there, something solid. Sometimes I'd lie awake at night, thinking about how different my life had become in just a few months. From crying alone in a candlelit kitchen to sitting across the table from a man who actually listened when I spoke. A man who wasn't married to his own ego. But Travis wasn't going to let me go easy. Not after everything. He was about to make one more mistake, the kind you don't come back from. About 2 weeks after filing the restraining order, things went quiet. No emails. No letters. No Travis hanging around the spa. I let my guard down. Big mistake. One Saturday night, Kevin and I had just gotten back to my apartment after a late dinner. We were laughing about something stupid. I can't even remember what when I saw it. The door was cracked open. I froze. Kevin stepped in front of me instantly, like a wall. "Stay here," he said. He pushed the door open with one hand, the other in his pocket where he kept a small pocket knife. I stayed behind him, heart hammering so loud I could barely hear. Inside, it looked normal at first. Nothing broken. Nothing missing. Then I saw it. My photo albums were dumped out on the floor, pictures torn and scattered everywhere. The vase from my mom's funeral was smashed on the tile. My closet door was wide open, clothes thrown everywhere. And in the middle of the living room, sitting on the coffee table, was my old wedding photo. The glass was shattered, the frame bent. Scrawled across it in Sharpie were the words, "You're mine." Kevin called the cops immediately. When they got there, they found fingerprints all over the place, and they matched Travis. Turns out, he broke in while I was at work earlier that day, and waited. Waited for me to come home. If we hadn't gone out to dinner. If we had come home earlier. I don't like thinking about it. The police arrested him 2 days later at a motel 20 minutes away. He had a backpack full of rope, duct tape, and a hunting knife. He told them it was all a misunderstanding. Sure, Travis. He got charged with breaking and entering, violating a restraining order, and intent to intimidate. Kevin made sure I had a lawyer and extra security at my apartment until I could move. Because yeah, I wasn't staying there anymore. I moved in with Kevin a month later. Not because I had to. Because I wanted to. Because I wanted to start my life over somewhere Travis couldn't touch. After Travis got arrested, he didn't make bail. Nobody posted it for him. Not his parents, not his so-called friends, and definitely not me. I heard through the lawyer that he cried like a baby in court, begged the judge to understand. Said he just wanted to talk to me. The judge wasn't buying it. They handed down the sentence 3 months later, 18 months in county jail. Mandatory anger management. Probation for 5 years after. It wasn't much, but it was enough to give me time. Time to rebuild. Time to heal. Time to breathe. Meanwhile, Kevin and I grew closer. It wasn't always easy. Some nights I woke up in cold sweats, thinking I heard Travis at the door. Some days I wondered if maybe I had missed some warning signs years ago. Maybe if I'd fought harder, been louder, been more, none of it would have happened. It took me a long time to admit this. I stayed too long. I let Travis walk over me for years because I loved him more than I loved myself. That was my mistake. Never again. Kevin didn't rush me. He was just there. Steady. Patient. We didn't talk about marriage for a long time. I needed to stand on my own 2 feet first. I built myself a new life in Scottsdale. I worked hard. I saved up. I got promoted at the spa. I even started going back to school online to finish my business degree. And about a year after Travis went to jail, Kevin and I took a trip. It wasn't fancy. Just a weekend up in Sedona. Red rocks, blue sky, fresh air. One night, sitting around a fire pit, Kevin pulled something out of his pocket. Not a ring. A key. My house is too damn big for just me, he said, smiling a little. I want you to have a room there. Or the whole damn thing if you want. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I didn't run. I took the key. Because for once, I wasn't giving myself away. I was choosing. On my terms. Travis? Last I heard, he got out early for good behavior. I'm sure he went right back to being the loser he was. Charleston's a small place. His reputation followed him everywhere. Nobody trusted him. Nobody hired him. He lost everything. And the best part? I didn't have to lift a finger. He destroyed himself. All I did was walk away and never look back.